Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Championship Rounds podcast. Today, we'll preview quite a big week of boxing. It's the first real big card of the year, I'd say. And yeah, starting with the main event, it's the only place to start, really. David Benavidez against David Morrell. Two top five light heavyweights. In a brilliant fight, I think. Both unbeaten. It's just a really, really good fight.
Yeah, we really we really needed this because January was pitiful all the way through. That was this is like the first, like you said, it's the first like actual card of the year. It's pretty goddamn good.
It's interesting because this fight, it was talked about for ages when they were both at super middle, and I don't know, I really didn't think we'd get it, to be honest. I thought we'd only get it when, well, I was going to say when one of them wins a world title, but they're both. The only ridiculous thing about this is that there's two fake belts on the line for it. But yeah, I thought we'd only get it really when they're both sort of in a big unification or something like that. Not at this stage anyway.
I mean, Morrell has been asking for this fight for a while, and I'm impressed with Benavidez that he took it. That's what I've liked about Benavidez. He hasn't sat around waiting for the Canelo fight that he's not going to get, like other fighters did.
Yeah, I mean he's Lemieux, not brilliant, but he's okay. Kyron Davis is okay. And then you just go Plant, Andrade, Vosdik, Morrell. That's like a really good run.
It's pretty damn good right there.
He's not, as you say, he's not sitting around doing nothing. He's taken quite good fights with guys. I think this fight's so interesting to me because Morrell is so unproven.
Yeah.
That's sort of the thing for me. Just how good is Morrell? That's the question here.
And it made it even worse with his performance at light heavyweight against Hot Rod.
Yeah, he didn't look good. He really didn't look good.
They both didn't look amazing.
I thought Benavidez looked much better than Morrell.
There's a huge difference, but Benavidez sort of fell off a cliff, like stamina wise, in the last 4 or 5 rounds.
I also think
throughout most of the fight just didn't look that good. Really.
I also think, Vosdik is levels and levels above Hot Rod.
Yeah,
even now,
you could make a case that's his best win. I mean, it's not because it's a 2024 Vosdik, but I mean, his best win is Plant.
That's probably, but I'm not 100% sure that Plant would beat Vosdik.
No, he definitely wouldn't. I mean, it's also a Plant who was coming off. I mean, he had been stopped, and he's not the Plant he was.
Plant did really well in that fight, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
First, I scored that fight 115, 113. I gave Plant the first 5, I think.
But that late surge was crazy from Benavidez.
Yeah, crazy, but he should have stopped.
No, he should have stopped him, but Plant was kind of holding on for dear life at times.
See, the thing with this fight is it's really good, but I've never debated who I think is going to win.
I've gone back and forth a lot.
I mean, I've been watching them both recently, and I'm not like confident, but I'm reasonably confident in my pick.
Who are you picking?
I'm picking Benavidez.
So like, this is a pretty good 50-50 fight, which I wouldn't be upset at anyone picking whoever. I just feel like it's most likely to go the distance, obviously, and then yeah, I think Benavidez is just a little bit more complete.
I mean, look, Morrell has some better attributes. I mean, I think he has better defense. I mean, he definitely has better footwork. Obviously, him being a southpaw is an advantage for himself, but I mean, his stamina is not good. He's very inexperienced, and I don't think he can pace himself.
I think
But I think he has. I think he hits harder. I think he has more one punch power.
Definitely.
Whereas I mean, Benavidez, he has much better stamina, better offense.
and I think he's a bit bigger as well, Benavidez.
Yeah, he's bigger. I mean, I think this weight favors Benavidez. At
Yeah.
168, I mean, wouldn't. I mean, I still wouldn't pick Morrell, but I think it'd be closer in my head.
I sort of see it like the plant fight. To be honest, I think it would be like very similar to that. I think Morrell will outbox him early, and then
See, the thing with, I mean, he doesn't really box. I mean, he's one of those front foot angle type fighters. I mean, I'm sure he can box. I mean, he's Cuban, but like that's not his style. But maybe he'll implement it.
I thought, well, when I say outbox, I mean I think he'll win the first 3 or 4, and then
He should, because we saw
yeah,
in the Vosdick fight, Benavidez started way too fast.
yeah.
If he kept up his stamina that he was doing for like the first 8 rounds, he would have thrown nearly 1,000 punches rather than like 600 that he did. But added weight, I guess. Vosdick's a good fighter, and it's not like Vosdick wasn't landing to slow you down. He just died way too fast.
I think Benavidez does enough in the second half to get a decision. But I think I keep going back and forth. Like, it's sort of at what point does Benavidez take over, and can he nick enough of the early rounds? Like, because
Well, the second half of the fight, I think, is definitely his.
yeah, definitely. But it's at what point it becomes his. Does it become his at sort of the 5th or 6th round, or does it become his at the 7th or 8th? And that's the thing in my head. And can Benavidez nick one of the first sort of 4 or 5? And like I think Benavidez is going to win a decision, but I think it's going to be very, very close. And I think there's going to be a few people disagreeing with it.
Yeah, I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, there's always someone that disagrees. I think it really depends if Benavidez feels Morrell's power. If he can't hurt Benavidez, he's in for a long night.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was
he
ultimately
definitely.
the issue of Plant. And Andrew, really.
Well, I mean, Andrews, he's a middleweight, and Plant. I mean, yes, it was, but Plant's always had bad stamina anyway. He was always going to fall apart late. It was just if he could bank enough early rounds, which he couldn't. The problem with Morrell and his stamina is he didn't really throw that many like loads of punches to be like, okay, yeah, he started really fast, he's throwing loads of punches, fair enough. He's fallen off and his stamina's look really bad, like Benavidez. Like he just did what he did and then kind of fell off a cliff and even got hurt a couple of times. But I mean, Hot was a big puncher, so that's fine.
Should be pretty damn good though.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult in my head. Like, I think Benavidez wins, but like I don't know.
I probably, I mean, it's hard to see anyone outpointing Benavidez unless you completely just neutralize his offense and you make him so wary with like your power. I mean, with his style with those angles, I mean, he could just keep doing that all night. I mean, Benavidez' footwork is terrible. Terrible. It's not good.
Yeah, he's in the grain of fighter for me where when he's fighting someone his own size, it doesn't really go that well, and that's you see it a lot with these sorts of big physical guys. Like once that advantage goes, like they're not that good. If that makes any sense, like this is such an intriguing fight, man. I honestly have no idea.
It makes it even harder that they're both fighting at a new weight class because they haven't had that many fights at that weight class. So there's not much to compare off each other. If it was at 68, we'd have more fights to compare to one another. But
I think experience might play a part as well.
Yeah, I mean, Hot Rod is by far Morrell's best win.
Yeah, and that's probably not like even a top 4 or 5 Benavidez win, really. Maybe sneaks 4th. But like, even going rounds, like he's gone 12, like what, twice? He's been past like 4 or 5 rounds twice, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's stopped most people he's fought.
Your boss Looney was. I'll call him Ados. Ados was late.
I mean, that wasn't bad pronunciation, to be honest.
Your boss Looney, or however you say it.
That's how you say it.
See, you've made me insecure about how I pronounce names.
Well, now you're getting them right, so maybe it was good that I did that.
Maybe. Yeah. Lennox Adam, your boss Anuli, and Hot Rod were all late, and then none of these other fights have gone past 4 rounds.
See, I mean the stopping your boss Anuli late. I mean that's shows. I mean it does show his stamina is okay, but I mean he was kind of having it all his own way and dominating.
Yeah,
you probably should have stopped him a couple rounds before that.
Yeah.
There is a difference between setting your own pace going 12 and being forced to fight at a pace going 12.
Getting it set for you.
Yeah, because at that pace that he fought in that fight, with no fight back really, he could do that for 30 rounds. Fighters can do that for 30 rounds. When you fight your own pace, it's easy. But I mean, Benavidez is not gonna let you fight your own pace. I mean, I think he wants a slow pace, and Benavidez he's really accurate as well.
Yeah.
I can't see a stoppage here, really.
No, that's the last thing I can see. Which is funny because they don't hit they're not huge punches, but they can hit. But I don't see a stoppage.
I think if there is going to be a stoppage, I can just see Morrell landing one, and like Benavidez being squared up and just taking it clean, and just Morrell finishing him off. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really can't see Benavidez stopping him.
I mean, I could. like just gets overwhelmed with the amount of volume he's going to throw, and if his stamina's not good, I mean, maybe he's not like crazily hurt and he's more tired, but it would be late. Or Morrell catches him with a left hand or a right hook. He has a really good right hook as well.
I don't know. I just think if there's one thing about Cubans, it's they know how to survive. I guess. Like I just think Morrell can survive if it gets tough late on.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Man, it's such a good fight. It's such a good fight. I've been looking forward to this one for months.
It's like the first real fight of the year so far.
One thing I wanted to talk about on this, like, you see some people saying, well, the winner of this, I'll put it another way. The winner of this is in line for the Beterbiev Bivol winner. Whoever comes out on top of both of these fights, do you give the winner of this one a chance to beat Bivol or Beterbiev?
No.
Absolutely not. I agree. I think as good as this is, I think they're clearly a tier or two below Beterbiev and Bivol.
Look, there is Beterbiev and Bivol, and then there's a massive Grand Canyon
Big
gap.
ass gap.
Yeah.
A Grand Canyon gap, and then there's everyone else. Well, there is like Morrell, Benavidez. Then there's another Grand Canyon gap. Maybe not Grand Canyon gap because you like what's his face?
Glacius.
Wrong division.
Oh yeah.
Who do I like?
What's his face? What's his face? What's his face? What's his face?
Someone trash, probably.
Light heavyweights for the Brits. I don't know who you mean. Vostok, do you mean?
No.
Katayev?
Yeah, there we go. That's who you like, Katayev.
No, Katayev ain't on this level yet. Katayev's in the sort of Buatsi tier for me. He ain't on this level yet.
Yeah, but I mean, Boazzi is top 10.
Yeah, like they're top 10 fighters, but they ain't like Benavidez, Morrell. Like for me on ability, these are the third and fourth best fighters in the division on ability.
Maybe Katayev has better wins than Morrell.
Does he? Moderna and
Bolotniks. Okay.
Bolotniks. I'd say Hot Rod's better than Bolotniks, man.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. But yeah, like he's good, but yeah, he's not this level. Like I think these two are extremely good, but they're not Beterbiev Bivol. And like Beterbiev stops both, and Bivol comprehensively outboxes both.
Yeah, I mean, it would look pretty similar to the Zerdo fight against both of those.
Definitely.
But, I mean, maybe one of Bivol and Beterbiev are not the same after the rematch. You never know.
Can you imagine Benavidez's feet against someone like Beterbiev with his offense?
Yeah, it would. It would close the gap as quick as he closed it against Callum Smith.
Yep.
Instantaneously. Jesus Christ.
Just instantly showed up on the ropes. Like, oh god, what's happening?
Showed up, squared, leaning back. Oh.
Yep.
Nothing good.
Yeah, that's bad.
Anyway, I think that's about everything we've covered on there for that fight.
But
Actually,
straight
Taj, who are
away.
you picking?
Picking Benavidez.
Oh,
Decision.
that's so we're brilliant. We're all picking the same
It's
thing.
rare. It's rare.
Yeah.
Unless it's some like mismatch, like in a way. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Yeah. Chief support on this card. It's a very good card, I must say. Well, it's a very good top 2 fights.
I mean, I don't mind the card.
I think there are a couple of stupid fights, but
Well, there's a couple of stupid fights on every card. That's fine.
yeah. I like the card. I like the card, and I think the two top fights are really good. Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa rematch at featherweight. For Brandon Figueroa's WBC featherweight title. First fight extremely close. I thought Figueroa just nicked it.
Same.
It wasn't a robbery, but I thought he just nicked it.
I was in the building for
And
that.
what's weird, it's sort of like I think both have regressed quite a fair bit.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yes.
Fulton, inactive, got knocked out. Debut at featherweight gets dropped. Controversial decision. Figueroa, he had the McSile fight was good, but then he looked like a mummy against Magdalena.
Look, even the Maxiah fight wasn't actually Figueroa. I mean, he threw like half the amount of punches he would usually throw.
No,
Like,
it wasn't him. It just was a
in his
vast
defense,
difference between the Magdalena fight.
in his defense, I mean, Maxiah hits very hard, so that's obviously going to lower his output. Whereas Fulton hits negatively hard.
Like, I worry about Fulton in this fight. I think, I don't know, man. If Figueroa was fit, I'd have no doubts Figueroa was just going to run him over.
Look, I think a regressed Fulton would beat a regressed Figueroa because like his style, that was what gave Fulton so much trouble. And if he can't do that style again, I mean, Fulton should have enough to beat him. But if he can, with that style, if he can implement his style, it's like the first fight was hard for Fulton, and this fight's going to be 10 times worse.
Yeah, no, if Figueroa fights the way he did in the first fight, then I have no doubt in my mind how the fight's ended. But if Figueroa fights like he did against like Magdalena, then he's gonna win a couple rounds and just eat shots coming in and not be able to land anything. But I feel like I have more faith in that Figueroa will do the same thing he did in the first fight because it worked like a lot. He hurt Fulton half a dozen times. So
I worry about Fulton's punch resistance. He got hurt multiple times against Castro, got dropped, got quite badly stopped by Inoue. And like I worry about it. Like
his
the way
his inactivity is not helping. Like trying to predict this fight because his last two fights he got hurt like multiple times, dropped and stopped. So
I Figueroa, man, like if Figueroa was throwing 70, 80 punches around, even at that volume, pushing him back, Figueroa's going to be so much bigger now. Like, I don't know,
yeah, he's probably gonna be like 140 in the ring.
yeah, and
more.
I don't think Fulton's really a featherweight. To be honest,
Yeah, he's not a big like he's lanky, but he's not a big fighter.
And like, I worry about Fulton mentally. Like we've all seen what he's been doing on Twitter. We've like the constant sort of mental breakdowns. He's like crying all the way through his last fight week that he was on the prelims. Like, I worry about it. Like, I think he's like, it's a weird thing to say, but like, if it really gets on top of him in this fight and he's like losing 3 or 4 rounds quite badly in a row, does he jack it in? I don't know.
He's
He's from Philadelphia. He's not
from Philly.
quitting.
He's not.
No,
He's
no, but
getting
not
like,
shit.
happening.
like if it's getting on top, like we've seen what he's been like these last few months. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying I don't know if he won't. It's playing on like
I'm like 99.9% confident he won't. He's from Philadelphia.
He's not
That
getting. He's not
they
quitting
just
it.
don't. They just don't do that.
not quitting per se, but will he? Right, there's sort of a different thing, isn't there? There's quitting as in you quit the fight and like you take a knee or you ask your corner to pull yourself out, and then there's quitting in the sense that I know I'm going to lose here, and if I want to win, I'm going to have to put myself in ridiculous amounts of danger, and I'm going to have to get hurt and risk getting knocked out again. Does he do that?
He's
I
done
don't
that.
know.
He's done that multiple times.
But he hasn't been this mentally unstable going into a fight before.
Well, he may have. We just didn't know that.
I don't
Look, the
know,
last guy who was supposedly mentally unstable dropped Devin Haney 3 times and upset him.
Yeah, so.
And you also said like Tyson Fury might do the same thing.
I was
That
going to
didn't
mention.
happen.
He might do. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying it's on my mind going into this with these sorts of fighters.
We'll put it at the.
It's always something that could happen.
It's not what's happening.
Look, I mean, it could always happen with every fighter.
I don't know.
It's
It's
just unlikely
something to
not to.
consider.
I think Talkers wants another Oliver McCall situation or something.
I'm not even saying
It's
that
not-
drastically.
it's
I'm just
not
saying,
happening.
like, it's not that drastically, but like not. I don't know, man. I worry about it.
Oh, I think he'll be fine.
I think there's you don't really see that many rematches where both have regressed this much.
Both aren't active either.
Well, you know, that's to be expected. TBT fighters
And they just don't fight.
fight once a year. But they had too many fighters, not enough cards, especially last year. Most of them were pay-per-view. Look, actually, well, I was going to say maybe. You know, regress fighters, when they fight, usually it's a good fight.
Usually, I think Figueroa takes a decision here, and I think he drops Fulton a couple of times along the way to secure it. And I think Fulton does quite well early on, but it just gets too much. And Figueroa sweeps the second half of the fight, and Fulton gets dropped a couple of times late on. That's what I'm going to go with.
I'm also making a decision for Figueroa.
Don't really know how this fight's going to go. Probably Figueroa just outworks him, I guess. I mean, I think the weight, like how 175 favors Benavidez, I think 126 favors Figueroa.
Does it?
Yeah.
Or would like I know it's weird to say because they fought at 122, but does it? Because Figueroa is bigger, but at this stage at 126, does it being at 126 favor him? Because he's actually 130, if we're being honest. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Figueroa's bigger, and in the first fight, 126, Figueroa's better at 126 in the first fight. But now I'm worried. Figueroa looks drained, man.
He does look like a 2x4. So.
Well, he does. Maybe he's just trained a lot harder. He's actually like in crazy shape for once, which could be bad for Fulton, or it could be good for Fulton.
If we're just overlooking how like uh, muscular and like toned out Figueroa is, and that's just really him about to just run him over. That'd be crazy to watch. Imagine Figueroa just topples him in like 3 rounds. That'd be insane.
Look, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, he throws lots of punches. I mean, he punches hard.
His body punching is also insane. So
Look, I mean, anything could happen. Oh, I say anything. All right, Fulton can't stop Figueroa, but other than that, anything could happen.
that's the last thing happening.
I mean, I've seen Fulton eat Magsayo and Neri punches. Fulton is doing nothing.
I don't know, man. I think Figueroa wins this fight. I'm pretty confident in it.
I'm like 75-25% confident in it.
I have no idea, but I'm picking Figueroa
By
decision.
oh my god,
Yeah.
back to back fights and agreement.
Look,
This has to be a jinx. Oh damn,
Stephen Fulton's tough.
too tough.
And as you were saying yesterday, he ain't no.
You know, bitch. Oh man.
Add to context, we rewatched that first fight last night.
Yeah, that was. It was great. I was there, and it was great there. It was
Look,
great.
I mean, I wasn't scoring it, but from the visuals, it's not like a great look for Figueroa. Like all like the big moments happen for Figueroa. It's just not a good look.
For Fulton, you mean?
Yeah, when you're scoring, I mean, yeah, it can look different. But when you're just watching it, oh,
When you're watching Fulton on like when you just like focus on how many times he was hurt, he's probably hurt like 5 to 7 times, to be honest. Like maybe like a flurry or two away from like being in like real danger of being stopped in the first fight. I think he'll be able to last, but lose convincingly this time.
I think I don't know. Like, it's one of these ones. There's an equation in my head where it's if Fulton is losing at sort of 7 or 8 rounds and tries to dog it out and tries to win, I think he gets stopped. But if he doesn't and he just sort of tries to keep the same game plan and box a little bit and move and all that, I just think he loses on points. Like, it's one of those things. Like, he's got to put himself in danger here, and I don't know if he can hold up to it.
well, he will if Figueroa's not washed himself.
Oh yeah. This is the thing. They're both like, it's how washed are they, isn't it?
Like Figueroa can't implement the style. Who would have boxed him to a decision?
Oh yeah, definitely. If Figueroa was done at the weight, like, you just Fulton wins the UD, and then in a way he's got a rematch at featherweight.
Yeah, because it's a lot easier to implement Fulton style whilst being washed than implement Figueroa style being washed.
Yep. I just hope it's half as good as the first one.
Yeah,
To be honest. It was a really good fight the first time. But anyway, we're all agreeing. Talking of totally shot to pieces fighters, Jesus Ramos is going to stop Jason Rosario to the body in about 4 or 5 rounds. Totally pointless fight, and we'll move on. I think we all agree on that, don't we?
It's funny because Rosario's actually shown like punch resistance since like the Lubin fight, but I think he's going back down to 54.
Yeah,
that's not good.
His last fight was at super middleweight.
Yeah, he's gonna get cooked. He needs to be big. Like his punch resistance is better when he's obviously a bigger fighter, like at a bigger weight class, because he's a huge 54. But he needs to, if he wants to like continue a career without getting knocked out, he needs to stay up. Him drain himself and go 154. Yeah, nah, he's getting stopped. Like I don't really think that highly of Ramos, but he's better than Rosario, obviously.
Ramos is big, he's strong, he punches a lot, and he punches hard. And against a washed fighter, that's sort of you're getting. He's only 29.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Rosario's 29. I thought he was like 34. Jesus.
Oh, that means he was like 24 when he won the titles.
Yeah, when he knocked out J-Rock, he was 24.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a miracle if he doesn't get stopped.
When he lost to Nathaniel Ganamore, he was 22. But yeah, he's getting stopped. It's a pointless fight. Jesus Ramos should be rematching Lubin because I thought he beat Lubin pretty clearly. Or fighting any other of the good 154 pounders. You know, because there's loads of good guys at 154 that aren't totally shot to pieces and fighting at super middleweight now. But yeah. Isaac Cruz, Angel Figueroa. God, where do we start here?
We start with, why is he still fighting at 140?
Because he's going to get a title shot for the WBC next. That's why.
Why?
Mark my words, he gets the Sandor Martin Puello winner, especially if it's Puello.
Puello would outbox the shit out of Cruz, to be honest.
So would Sandor Martin.
That's what I'm saying. The even like less good boxer would outbox the hell out of Cruz.
Yeah, because Cruz really isn't that good.
Or a 40-pounder.
I've never really rated him.
Look,
he's
living
put him
off
on this pedestal against that Magdalena viral knockout, and since then he's been getting like opportunity after opportunity for no reason. I don't know.
He's living off going the distance with Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, in that.
Pretty much. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, he fought fine, but I mean, he clearly lost.
I thought he lost to Cabrera as well, by the way. And Giovanni Cabrera is an awful fighter.
That fight as a whole was horrible to watch.
Like, yeah, he's just knocked out Rowley. He's disabled. No, he is, though, isn't he? He is. Angel Fierro, he was getting hyped up off certain accounts because he was on the Matchroom shows, but he's not very good either. got
It's a-
schooled by Alfredo Santiago, and I'm like badly schooled by him, who's not that good. Like, was getting knocked out by Ricardo Nunes and people. Yeah, it is what it is. This fight, it's to get Cruz a win and get him back in the title picture. I don't care about it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I think Cruz is gonna win. I mean, if he lost, wouldn't be too surprised. He's not that good, and he's not a 140 pounder. I think he's gonna win a
Figueroa's
decision.
Figueroa hasn't looked good since the fight that he also didn't really look good in against Machado, however many years ago. He's looked like garbage every single fight since then.
Drew Burgos, yeah. Had a split with what was that on a
I think that was on the
card was that
list.
on? Was that on yeah, I
Maybe
remember that. I remember that.
something with Lara, maybe, or
I
Rocky.
think it was some Mexican card. I think.
Yeah, one of the Mexican cards that Hearn put
I
on.
think it was Brian
The match
Zimmer. Actually, I'm not sure.
But yeah, all this is getting Cruz back in the title picture, and he should. If he's losing to Fierro, he should finish. Like,
He should move down.
Maybe he can't anymore. He's muscle. He's just one big muscle.
no foot movement, no nuance, no nothing. He just plods forward and swings hooks in. Like, pointless. There's two fights on the prelims here. Not exactly close fights, I'd say, but they're two very, very interesting fighters. Mirko Cuello is fighting Christian Olivo in a WBA final eliminator at featherweight for Nick Ball.
This is the closer of the two
This
undercard
is
fights.
this is close from the two.
Yeah.
I watched the Nunes fight, and that was very, very close. I thought Nunes just won against Olivio, but it was a good fight. I think Cuello is going to beat the hell out of him, though. If I'm being honest.
Yes, because Marco Cuellar is a good fighter.
He's a very good fighter. Won pretty much every round against Cinnamon Sagawa.
Something a certain fighter could not do.
But
Yeah,
unfortunately for
Ruben
him, look,
Ruben
unfortunately for
Viet.
him, when he finally gets a title shot, it's going to be against a Japanese guy that he is not going to be.
No, it's going to be a vacant title.
Oh, might not be.
Inoue is not fighting Mirko Cuello.
Yeah, but no.
Oh, no.
Look, he loves to actually fight his mandatories and follow the rules. That's why he's wasted so much time on Sam Goodman.
He's going to get a vacant title shot against Edward Vasquez or someone like that. That's what's going to happen.
Brilliant.
Like Cuello, he needs to tighten up his defense, but offensively, I really, really rate him. I think he's really, really good, man. Like really, really, really good. Like the top tier of featherweight right now.
I'm disappointed that I won't see him fight Nick Ball. I wanted to see that fight.
He would have battered Nick Ball.
Exactly.
He would. Like,
I wanted to see
Nick
that.
Ball's not that good. Nick Ball's not that good. I want to see it. This fight won't happen, but I really want to see him against Carrington, Quayle against Carrington, just to see someone.
I don't need to see it to know.
Yeah, it won't happen.
It won't happen, but yeah, I'd like to see him against the winner of Figueroa Fulton, but again, won't happen.
Well, it's more of a chance of that than Owen.
Actually, I should have said I think Figueroa wins and moves up, by the way, to 130. But that's a totally separate conversation. I think Figueroa's done at featherweight after this fight. He's won his title. He's drained. He'll move up. But anyway, back to Cuellar. Yeah, I think Cuellar's going to look really good. Then he's going to stop him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now for the middleweight, the savior of the middleweight division. Because Yanabek's running around doing whatever he's doing. Arislandi Laro's semi-retired and is off to the old people's home soon. Hollywood Hamza keeps turning down fights and is calling out Edgar Berlanga. Yoni Hernandez is going to save the middleweight division. He's going to beat the hell out of this kid on Saturday.
There's no saving this division.
Yoni Hernandez is going to save the division. He's going to save middleweight. And you will be there to watch it.
I hope there's some fixing to this division because
Being honest, though, this opponent is terrible.
I remember Angel Ruiz from the Ring City days, man.
He's just not. He's just not that.
And that's why it's on the prelims.
Losing every round to Giovanni Sancio. Like, yeah. This was meant to be some sort of interim title or regular title or final eliminator, but like even the WBA are just saying no. Like that's when you know it's bad. When the WBA are denying it being like an interim title fight, you know it's bad. But yeah, it's a good card in general. All on Prime, very good card, very good top two fights. Yeah, really, really, really looking forward to it. And it's the first big fight of the year.
We have a Colonel Moten
Oh, we
on the card as well.
Oh, we do. That's not being televised for some reason, though.
Why?
Like the rest of his fights. Yeah.
Well, we saw him against Anthony Huber, and that was great. A list, and that has like 3 million views on YouTube. That fight. Show him. People want to see him. Take him on the prelims.
Yeah, but it's the
Carmel
PBC.
Mountain's opponent. Carmel Mountain's opponent is Pop 30 before. That's funny.
Why wouldn't you show him? Like people want to see him. It makes no sense.
Because it's the PBC and they only show like 2 fights a card.
Why? Look, each put 3 fights on the main card, or 4, and then just put the rest on YouTube. That's fine. That's easy.
There's an interesting super middleweight by the look of it as well. John Easter, who's 7-7 by way of. There's this is the thing. There's all these weird prospects on PBC cards that like you never really get to see, and then they just come out of nowhere.
Well, don't forget the middleweight fight. This is the middleweight fight to save the division. Jose Benavidez Jr. versus Danny Rosenberger.
What happened to the game I love? I forgot his alias.
Danny
Feel Good
Rosenberger,
Hollywood.
drew with Nico Annie Walsh, but it got overturned. There you go.
Yes, it did.
There you go. Yeah, brilliant. We'll move on.
I won't moan that this is a pay-per-view fight because who cares? I won't be paying for it. Who cares? But this shouldn't be on pay-per-view.
It's just the modern market. Like, it is what it is. The modern market says that it is. So it's like
Come on
the
out,
amount of
sort it out.
crap. Yeah, I agree, but like, it's just it is. It's just the nature of the sport now, which is unfortunate, but it's just how it is.
Look, you can't survive with 95% of your cards being pay-per-view. It's not gonna happen.
I agree, but it's what it is now. It's just how they're gonna do it.
And if you do survive, then something fishy's going on.
Anyway, Adam Azine Sergei Lipinets. That's happening in London on a boxer card. Hi Ben, we know you're listening.
Well done, Ben. You put on a good fight.
Rare.
I actually think this is a good fight for Azine.
Yeah, much better than his
In the sense that I think it's a good
contemporary.
step up for him. I think Azine will win. Azine will win pretty well.
Yeah,
He'll stop Lipinets. But I think it's a good step up. Lipinets is still solid.
but maybe he won't stop living yet. I haven't really decided.
So I don't want a triangle theory here, but Robbie Davies Jr. is nearly stopping you.
Yeah.
Uh,
And Robbie Davis Jr. was in the same gym as him for ages. They know each other pretty well. They would have talked about this fight. I think
I'll call
Azim's,
for Azim late knockout.
yeah. They're developing, like,
10th round, somewhere around there.
is it a 10 or 12 rounder? It's a 12
12.
rounder because, of course, it's for the IBO World title. Why wouldn't it be?
It's coveted, very coveted. That is. Come on.
I think these last two fights have been good for Azim's like development with O'Hara and Lipinets. But like it's just a shame his promoter's an idiot and like you ruin his perception with boxing fans when you're openly ducking, like you're undeniably ducking your biggest domestic rival because you wanted to fight Enoch Paulson and Frank Petterjan.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they did. Like, if they'd have just said, "Look, he's not ready for it. We're still developing him, and we're taking these fights," no one bats an eyelid. But they're not because Shalom's an idiot.
He's not very good at his job. Pretty much.
Yeah, I think Azim's good though. He's a good fighter. He's not. He's not going to be like the elite force that a lot of people thought he would be when he was knocking out Ryland Charlton and people like that. But I think he's a good fighter. He'll be a good world level fighter.
Yeah. I mean, I am waiting until he steps up and stops fighting washed fighters to fully pass my judgment on him. Sometimes he looks great, and other times it's like, he doesn't look that good. But he did look good against Hart Davis.
Yep. And I don't know why, and I don't know why you're calling the IBO World Title Challenger washed. I don't know why he's calling that. Yeah. There's a few other fights this week. The rest of that boxer show is terrible. Like genuinely terrible.
Per usual.
Yep. Just have a look at who Callum Simpson's fighting. Look at his record and
Nice.
then look at the names on that record.
Oh, man. He better do him like he did Steed Woodle.
You better do him in the first round. Like
that's just horrible.
the matchroom card on Friday is worse than the boxer show. Terrible. Like, just what's the point? Like, this is the thing. You could combine the Matchroom and Boxer shows to like you could put them together, and you still wouldn't make one good card out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least the Matchroom show is a Friday next gen show, I guess. It's not like a main Saturday show.
Yeah,
But it's not good. But at least they're calling it what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really not that good. British boxing, we can probably do a whole show on this in a quiet week, but it's really it's gonna get worse before it gets better. There's a whole load of issues that I could go on about, but yeah, it's really not good. There's a Polish show in America in Newark on Saturday. The heavyweight Damian Neeber's fighting, I believe. That should be interesting. But Friday, there's a Bridgerweight fight. That's for some reason someone's put it on the notes, but we'll talk about it. Muslim Kaji Magomedov against Tabisa Mashuna. The WBA are refusing to sanction this for the title for some reason. Even after all the absolute idiocy that they do, they're refusing to allow Tabisa Mashuna, who probably should have been a world champion at cruiserweight and got robbed by the nonce's brother.
They won't even let him win a fake belt. No, like
Yeah, exactly. The WBA, yeah, the WBA are sanctioning Felix Sturm for a WBA gold belt, which puts him in the top 15 at light heavyweight at 46 years old. But they won't let Machunu fight for a Bridgeweight world title.
it's so disrespectful.
But it is what it
It
is.
has been disgraced for years now.
Gaji Magomedov's just going to outbox him because he's a master boxer.
Yeah,
It's going to be first gear.
The fight's not going to be good, but
yeah, it's going to be a amateur fight that's for 10 rounds, and Gaji Magomedov's just too good. Yeah, Shoslenko's on the undercard, who beat Michael Hunter in an IBA bout, last year. And yeah, there's a few other things on that show that we're not going to talk about because they're all sort of Russian fringe amateurs that aren't even the Russian team. So yeah, boring.
Jesus.
On to the news. Well, on Tuesday or Monday or whatever day it was, there was an announcement for a show on the 13th of March in Tokyo. World title triple header. We've known about the main event for a while. It's been rumored for ages. Even before both of their last fights, it's been rumored. Kenshiro Taraji against Saigo Yuriakui for the unified WBA and WBC flyweight titles. The right fight at flyweight, a really good fight at flyweight, but I think there's a very, very, very clear favourite here.
Yep. The future Hall of Famer.
Look, big up Kenshiro, man. He's just constantly fighting top fighter after top fighter after top fighter, and has been doing so for like a decade now.
He's just in there, man. He'll win this fight. Like, you can watch the sparring on YouTube. It's actually on Kenshiro's channel. Kenshiro has the better of him. I think he's like just a better fighter.
He's better. He's kind of like better in every department. I think Akui is like pretty tough though. I'm thinking he might last a distance, but I'm not.
I think he will. I think he'll last a distance.
Yeah, I think I like Akui. He kind of came out of nowhere with the. He's like a good champion. Just Kenshiro he's fighting. So
I worry about. There was a moment in like round 9 or 10 of Akui's last fight against the Thai
against
kid.
Cherun Fak.
Yeah, and Akui got badly hurt to the body.
Yeah, no, he was.
And I worry about that. I worry if that's a sign of him, because he's a big guy as well. Like, I worry about, is he a little drained at flyweight? And
Actually, when
he's
you think
never
about
really had the best stamina. Like, actually, he has, but he hasn't. I don't know. And that fight was a lot closer than it needed to be. And
Chero's a great body puncher too.
yeah,
And he's reinvigorated.
I was gonna say
yeah,
he's
he
kind
looks
of.
great.
Those
I'm
those
thinking
4
about
pounds, man.
I'm thinking about it. I don't know. He
I know,
might
it's
he might stop him.
I mean, he had one fight to like kind of get used to the weight.
And he won like 98% of the fight. So
And that wasn't, he didn't just fight like some random terrible fight. I mean, Rosales isn't great, but I mean, he's not terrible. And he looked great.
It's the body shots, man. That's what I worry about. It's the body shots. I think Chiro wins, but it's just like if
How
he
he wins.
finds the right hand to the body from early on in the fight, Akui's getting stopped.
I mean, he will. He always does. He will. It's whether he can take them or not. How drained will he be is the question. Akui, that is.
I think he will be. Akui, like you say, he's a good, solid champion, but he's not elite. He's just a solid fighter, and he's had a good run, but he's getting cooked. He's done. He's getting beaten up here.
yeah, I'm thinking about it. I might pick a late Kenshiro. It's like body shot stoppage maybe.
That's why I see it.
Like in 10. 9 or
Yeah.
10.
Maybe he wants to box late again. Hopefully not.
That's he only was forced to do that because he went actual life and death.
Look, he might be like so far ahead. He's like, I'll just box the last few rounds for the guaranteed win.
No, I think
we're in
you're
agreement again. Well, this is not really a 50-50 fight anyway, but Kenshiro is like he's gonna win.
Yeah, Kenshiro.
Bar of a pretty big upset. So.
Yeah, and two of Kenshiro's sons are fighting in the chief support. Onasquaga against Hiroto Koyaguchi, and I think this will be a firefight, man.
Yeah, it will be good.
Because they're both limited defensively, and they're both very offensive minded.
Yeah, I mean, it will be good. Koyaguchi's just too far gone at this point.
I think Onasquaga's gonna.
Onasquaga's way too fresh. Koyaguchi's past his best. And past his best weight. I mean, he's not the biggest guy. I mean, he used to be a minimum weight.
Onasquaga's a lot bigger, yeah.
This is the gap for him. Onasquaga at flyweight is not his final destination of a weight class. This is definitely Kikuchi's last weight class. He can't go any further. I'd probably pick Onasquaga. Actually,
Like if Kyoguchi fights the same way he did against Paras in the third fight, he is getting his head taken off.
Yeah, he's getting shinned.
He's getting decapitated, man.
I mean,
he's getting Kano'd, to be honest.
Look, he can't really fight any other way.
Yeah, that's
the thing. Like,
I think if he has to, it's gonna be a knockout then.
It'll be a war.
It'll be it'll end middle rounds, but they'll be throwing 100 punches around damn near probably.
Yeah, it'll be like what fight was like what fight? I'm trying to think of a fight like that where like they're having a toe-to-toe war, but one's coming out on top. That's been recently. My mind's gone blank. Jesus. But yeah, it will be a war, but like Onasquaga will always have the upper hand, always have the bigger moments, always land the cleaner shots, always but Kyoguchi will be there until he gets stopped. On paper, on paper, the run by Olasquaga knocked out Magramo, knocked out Kanu, knocked out Bomber in the first round, and then a knockout over Kyoguchi. That on paper looks very, very good.
In less than 10, in 10 fights.
Yeah. Without context, it looks good, but then you realise what the Bomber fight was, and that he was losing against Magramo.
Look,
Yeah.
without context, it's gonna be not without context. This is gonna be a big win for Kyoguchi. He's making him a 3-division champion.
Yeah.
But he's not going to win, unfortunately. If he
Look,
does win,
I'm not ruling him out. I'm just not favouring him. I mean, I think it's like 75-25 in Olasquaga's favour.
yeah, he's just too fresh for me. It's. I'm going to get philosophical, but it's the cycle of life in boxing. The old guy with a name gets served up. He's had his time in the sun. He's had all the fights. He's had all the wars. He's won all the titles. And there's a new kid, young, that they want to push a little bit. And then, yeah, it's the cycle of boxing. It's what happens. And they know. They wouldn't have offered them the fight if they didn't think Olasquaga wins because it's a voluntary. And yeah, Olasquaga's going to beat him.
Yeah, probably pick Olasquaga by like a mid to late round stoppage, maybe.
Shikichi Iwata fights on this undercard against Rene Santiago.
That's not gonna be too good, is it?
I think the way Santiago fights, he comes forward and he pushes the pace, and he tries to get in your face. And I think you don't really want to do that against Iwata, and I think Iwata will chin him. Being honest, I don't rate Iwata that highly. I just think he's okay. He punches a bit.
He hits pretty hard though. So.
He hits pretty hard. He's a big stiff idiot. He is the only big stiff idiot in 108
he
pounds.
stands like that there.
He does. He is a big stiff idiot.
He does.
He boxes like a light flyweight David Price.
All right, not too much. Not too much. No, but I do think Santiago's a decent fighter, but
I actually I haven't watched it back because I actually like myself, but watching it live, I scored the Bomber fight to Santiago.
No, but you have hatred towards Bomba like the rest of us do. So that scorecard.
If you are listening, Bomber, I've sent you the postcode, bro. I've sent you the postcode, mate. So you can call me out on Twitter all you want. You can at me all you want, but the postcode's there.
He's a jackass.
Iwata
knockout, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a great fight, but it's a mandatory, and hopefully it gets a path for unifications, which won't be against Masamichi Ibuki because Ibuki's fighting Angel Ayala, which completely came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't really expect Ibuki to keep trying to stay at 108. He's too big to do that.
Well, we sort of saw the negotiations with Ibuki.
Yeah, I seen him. I just didn't trust. He just can't do it anymore. So
well, according to multiple people, it was Rosa's team that basically stopped that fight from happening. Ibuki was all for it, and then it's like, well, we can't get in. We might as well move up and fight Ayala because Ibuki didn't want to fight Iwata. He said that publicly. But yeah, Angel Ayala against Ibuki is a good fight.
I have no idea how to predict that fight either. Because again, haven't seen Ibuki yet, flyweight, and then Ayala, he's not that great champion, but
The best fighter that Ayala has fought was Felix Alvarado.
and he won about 4 rounds and got dropped. So
And my issue there was he got dropped very early on with that straight right hand from sort of mid to long range. And that's Ibuki's best shot. And Ibuki probably hits harder than Alvarado.
they both hit hard as hell. I guess it just depends on how he adjusts to the weight, because the power it's not going to go anywhere off 4 pounds. So
I think he'll be fine at the weight. He's massive.
he might be better at the weight, and
He might be better at the weight.
how good he's look. He's like turned more into like a. Well, he's always been like a boxer puncher, but he's like getting better at like
His
containing.
jabs are so good against Lanchinga.
This fight came too out of left field for me to have even thought
Yeah, I don't
too much about it. I don't really
Yeah.
know. I think I'm gonna favor Ibuki,
like 55-45 ish.
but I don't really know.
Apollo
Like this-
Mario had success, man.
Because this wasn't even a fight I had in like my head to even
Yeah,
have thought about at any time, so I have no idea.
I wasn't convinced that he would. I was like more on the side that he'd move up, but not go right into a title fight, and not for that title fight to be Ayala specifically. So yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I thought if he's gonna move up and fight for a title, it's gonna be against a jab.
It is weird. You know, like if you think about it, Ibuki wins, Kenshiro wins.
Trilogy fight.
Make the trilogy.
Yeah, we need a winner. This is a trilogy that needs a winner.
Like, and then like the winner can go and fight Alasquaga. Bang. And Gennady Fire can go and lose to Francisco Rodriguez. Funny. And Felix Alvarado can be left out in the cold.
Well, Felix Alvarado can fight one of the losers.
He's mandatory. Ibuki against Alvarado. Oh my god. That would be next. If Ibuki wins, Ibuki against Alvarado.
Well,
Oh my
just
god.
cross
Just
off
put it in
fight
the
of the
list
year.
already, George.
Look, just give it fight of the year already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. There's a lot of good fights at flyweight, man. A lot of good fights. And we will be there to watch them and review them and talk about them. And yeah. Is there anything else this week that I've missed? Erickson Lubin and Ardell Holmes is happening on Pro Box.
That's a
the
good
IBF
fight for
final
Pro Box.
FIFA
That's
Pro.
a good fight for Pro Box.
Have you seen? There was a report, by the way, Boxing Scene put something out. That Nicholas Flars against Gabriel Mastre is going to be the chief support on that show.
That's really damn good.
That's
Damn.
a really good show.
Okay, Pro Box.
Yeah, like,
It's just really good.
I see you.
It's really good.
they're really stepping up their game this year. Like they were good, but like they're really, really going for it this year.
Look, they had to put on better cards now that they switched to Saturday.
Yeah.
You can get away with it being on Wednesday, but now you're on fight on Saturday.
I was gonna say you can have those like filler cards as well. It's like boring and like a ghost town in the middle of the week, but you gotta give us something real
Because
good.
you can give us like slightly decent fights in midweek, and we'll be like, oh yeah, that's good because it's midweek. Like, oh yeah, midweek boxing.
And it's also you're a lot more inclined to enjoy it when it's free as well.
True.
Like it is a free product at the end of the day. But yeah, I really like that. There's the Cardenas and Lester Martinez doubleheader coming up soon with Shavkat Rakhimov on the card. That's a good show. But yeah, any other news? What other news?
That just came out, the Tiafimo being
Oh yeah, the Teofimo Lopez has been ordered to fight the winner of Barboza against Catterall by August. I don't care about Teofimo Lopez. He's an idiot. I don't care about Jack Catterall. He's boring. I don't care about Arnold Barboza. He needs to rematch Sean McComb.
that's never happening.
Like it's just it's really bad when the most likable fighter out of a group of three is Jack Catterall.
That is tough.
Like it's just, and anyway, he's just not going to fight him because he's got this Riyadh deal, isn't he? Against what's he's called? He's meant to be fighting in this Riyadh welterweight tournament, so he's not going to be fighting the winner. I don't know. Like it's just silly. The whole thing's silly. Just, oh. This is the problem when you don't fight. He just doesn't fight. Like, and there's no like news about him fighting. He's just going to be out the ring for 18 months.
Well, you know, him not fighting is fine because I don't care about watching him.
It's just unfortunate, man.
Look, he's gonna vacate or he's gonna move on to welterweight or both,
or neither. Just retire.
or he's gonna fight Richards and Hitchens
And lose every single round.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he was supposed to be fighting Richards and Hitchens. Well, he's supposed to fight everyone, apparently.
He's just boring at this point. It is boring.
Supposed to fight everyone, fights no one.
It is really, really boring. What else is there? Albert Bell's moved to lightweight. Who cares?
He's given up on that position. He's sat there for like 5 years waiting for that. Like I kind of feel bad, but it's like you just weren't that great to watch either. So like,
Shaquille Thompson is rumored to fight Janabek, but I don't think.
oh god.
I see. I was told that wasn't happening, but a load of other people are saying it is. But I was told that it wasn't, and I don't think it will. I hope it doesn't.
No, Jesus Christ.
Is there any? There's it's.
The
It's been
IBF
quite a-
ordered IBF ordered Garcia Calixto rematch. Wait for the
Oh yeah, that's got an extension.
February 11th.
Yeah, they're reaching a deal though. Somebody reported that was a done deal like weeks ago, apparently. But I don't know.
Probably is. There's no way it's that hard to make.
Yeah, and yeah, Murataya against Abdullayev is going to a purse bid next week, so we'll have a purse bid for that fight next week.
Yeah.
And there's not much else really. Yeah.
I mean, there was big news a week ago. Michael Collins signed to Waterman.
Jesus Christ.
We're scraping. They're going to end this show now. If we're talking about Wasserman boxing in 2025 and Michael Conlon in 2025 and then putting them together, to be fair, they fit quite well together. That's what I'll say.
They do match.
Both completely shot to pieces. Wasserman boxing, man.
And he's fighting, as I heard, Khan.
Yeah, we'll move on. Anyway, that's been that episode 30. Thank you for listening. All the links are below and all that good stuff. We'll be back probably on Sunday to review this or review these fights. Really, really good weekend of boxing. It's the first real big weekend of 2025. I am really looking forward to the fights. So yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you in episode 31.